game because we were patting ourselves on the back yesterday afternoon because we actually picked Chelsea and Liverpool as our futures in the FA Cup, and now they meet in the final. Chelsea -115. Don't complicate it. Arsenal are an absolute joke on the South Coast on Saturday. They should have and could have been so much better, but they just ran out of ideas and they were so predictable. +315. The draw is at +265. The over is 2.5 with plus money. The dog is over 2.5. Chelsea to score twice is at 105. Mark O'Hare, Chelsea, Arsenal. We've got Chelsea who could field two sides, and Arsenal, they look like they're guessing each other at the moment.
Yeah, this was probably one of the most straightforward selections, I think, of the midweek card, and has to be with Chelsea. Don't want to sort of be repeating myself week after week, but I think Arsenal were going great guns for a long time. Were the best team in the league, excluding the top three, until injuries hit. That defeat at Selhurst Park really sort of knocked them for six. Partey's injury as well, and we talked about it before the Southampton game about their issues covering left back. Xhaka was tried in there, and Partey's unavailability meant they were missing him in the midfield as well. And those problems have just been exacerbated recently. And Chelsea's one of their main strengths really is in central midfield. They've got a number of options that can play there, and that would be a concern coming into this match. And so would Arteta's comments after the Palace loss. He said he was concerned. He said the same after the Brighton game, and now he's admitted that the form is a real worry really towards the end of the season after what happened at Southampton, where they weren't very good. They did have lots of shots, and they didn't really. I know Fraser Forster got loads of plaudits for that match, but.
Oh, you or I could have saved them. There was not one decent. Honestly, the save that they're saying, "Oh, save of the season," it was the only place that Saka would have put it that he could have saved it. So that's perfect. And the second half ones, they were sclaffs. They weren't even clean strikes. I mean, I'm not afraid to Arsenal fan.
Arsenal started pretty well in that game. Started with intent and a lot of sort of fizz, but they did sort of, their second half they fizzled out very, very quickly. So their record really against Chelsea, they did the double over them last season. But ordinarily Chelsea have been going off around minus 130 in this fixture. And you kind of compare and contrast where the two teams are at the minute after Arsenal's recent performances. Compare them to what Chelsea did away at Real Madrid, and then what Chelsea did in the FA Cup semi-final, where they were, I wouldn't say they were second best, but they rode out a strong Palace first half and then sort of professionally came through that game. Arsenal have been floundering. Chelsea, I'm just surprised they're this big. They were minus 160 at home to Man United, minus 140 at home to Tottenham. They're minus 150 to beat an Arsenal team who I think are worse than Spurs and probably just slightly better than Man United. So just too big to ignore. So home win.
Yeah, I'm like that. Basically, I was even looking at, give me Chelsea -1, but then I think to myself, why complicate it? -115 Stinch is great value for a home side against an Arsenal side. First of all, you don't know who they're going to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this -115 just jumped off the page. Best bet of the week by miles. They were -115 in the away fixture. So even if you use that as a rough guide, Chelsea have to be shorter with Arsenal losing the home advantage and Chelsea gaining the home advantage. And then Mark married it up quite well with the prices that Chelsea have been at home to other similar ability teams in Tottenham and Man United. So yeah, Chelsea all the way for me. Don't think they've got any sort of new injuries, whereas Arsenal, there's no Lacazette at the weekend for reasons unknown. Not sure if he'll be back, but he's not scoring goals anyway. I think he's only scored 3 or 4 all season. But he is the captain, so they might miss his sort of leadership. But yeah, I had a look a bit into Arsenal's sort of matches with some of these missing players and come across a sort of fantastic stat really. Without Thomas Partey, when Thomas Partey plays, they only lose 25% of matches. Without Partey, they've had 14 matches across all competitions. That loss percentage doubles to 50%. It just goes to show how big a miss he is. And also, I think he maybe helps with the not only defensively but going forward as well, because in the 11 Premier League games that he's missed, Arsenal have only actually scored 5 goals. So if they're not scoring goals, this is also almost comes down to will Chelsea score. But yeah, -115 I just think is enormous, to be honest.
What about Arsenal -160? Do we see Arsenal? That's too big though, surely, Stinch, isn't it?
What, not to score?
Yeah. I
think I prefer, I don't mind that, but I would take it one step further and just back Chelsea win to 0. I did have a look at that. I think that was +225. So if you did want to boost the Chelsea -115, you could look there. But I've just seen signs of Chelsea. Obviously, those games against Brentford and Madrid, they were quite vulnerable defensively. But I'm more confident they can basically outscore Arsenal. If they outscore Arsenal, they win the game. So I'm just happy on this occasion just to back Chelsea on the money line. As you said many a time, don't complicate it.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go, to be fair. I think Chelsea are far, far, far too strong. And the other thing we're not mentioning, I think Arsenal have lost 3 of their last 4 games. So not exactly coming here full of the joys of spring. Okay, let's have a little look at the official picks, because you'll see that all 3 of us are on the same page. There you go. Bang, bang, bang. Almost that basically for the team, we're having 3 units on at -115, which basically gives us 2.54 units. That's just me just doing what I do.